Hey, how's it going? David in Ark here, and welcome back to Would You Rather? That's right, we're going to take a look at some of the hard hitting life questions and see if we can come up with some kind of answer. Hey, if you enjoy the Would You Rather series, hit the like button if you would. If it's your first time hanging around here, then stay tuned and hopefully you'll learn something. We'll all learn something. I don't know. We'll see what happens. We're going to start off with, would you rather travel the world confined to a wheelchair or spend your whole life in the same 200-mile radius? And the subtext is, by choosing to stay in one place, you would not be handicapped. However, if you're in the wheelchair, then you are handicapped. So essentially saying that you could walk around freely or travel around freely in that 200-mile radius if you're on the right side, or if you're in the wheelchair, then you are handicapped and thus not like you could get up out of it, that type of thing. Okay, that's where they're going with this. So what would I rather do? I will tell you, I've talked about this on several occasions on the channel. One of the things that I love to do with my family is every year we take a summer vacation and we spend a week somewhere. And we are generally, we try to confine it to the distance we can travel in a day, sometimes 2 days, depending on where we're going. Although we have definitely flown. We spent a week in New York back in 2009 when the new Yankee Stadium opened, and we happened to be able to catch a game there, and that was freaking awesome. Then we also flew when we went to San Francisco last summer. Other than that, though, we like to kind of drive to where we can go. I don't know. There's something about a road trip, you know? But anyway, what does that have to do with this? Here's what this has to do with this. I would rather travel the world confined to a wheelchair than to be stuck in the same 200-mile radius. I mean, I don't even live anywhere near the 200-mile radius where I was born. So, thinking along those lines, that would mean that wherever I was born, and I was born in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and so that would mean that I would have to always spend my whole life within that 200-mile radius, and presumably that I couldn't even travel outside of that 200-mile radius, that basically there's some kind of a wall or something that keeps me from going outside the 200-mile radius, where if I were in a wheelchair, I could go anywhere I wanted. How do you not pick that? I don't know. I would like to know your answer to that. So you let me know what's your choice and why down in the comments below. And more people would rather travel the world in a wheelchair than stay in the same 200-mile radius. I totally get it. All right. So, again, life's hard-hitting questions. This is what Would You Rather is all about. Would you rather discover the Loch Ness Monster or discover Sasquatch? And the subtext is, you would be credited with the discovery. So you're going to be famous either way. Okay. The truth of the matter is, there's just isn't worth spending a whole lot of brain cells on as far as I'm concerned. Between the two, tell you the truth, I think I'd rather discover the Loch Ness Monster. Isn't Loch Ness in, I don't know, Scotland or something? That'd be cool to visit. So discover a monster along the way. Why not? We'll take that. Wow. More people would rather do the Loch Ness Monster than Sasquatch. So there you go. That's awesome stuff. Cool. Let's cruise on over. Would you rather be in a room filled with people dying, okay, or be the only person in the big empty room? Subtext, you would be in either room for a considerable amount of time. Doesn't say what considerable is, but okay, so here's what I don't know. Would I rather be in a room filled with people dying? So the people that are dying, is there a chance that me being in the room could save them somehow? Maybe not all of them, but could I rescue some of those people? Because in that case, I'm picking that one. If they're just dying and there's nothing I can do about it, and I'm just going to be stuck there watching people die, I'd rather be in a big empty room. I mean, being in a big empty room doesn't, well, I mean, it's not big, but, you know, And I realize it's also not technically empty, but I have been in big empty rooms. I have been in various conference centers where there is nothing in the room, not even chairs or anything, just in the room, and have been put in there for 30 minutes or whatever while waiting to go talk to folks or make a presentation, and there's nothing there, not even drinks, nothing, just a big empty room, and you sit around tapping your watch and waiting. It's not that bad. It's you're just kind of hanging out, whatever. And it doesn't say that I couldn't have my phone with me, so even then, who knows? So at face value, I'm going to assume that I could not help the dying people, so therefore I would rather just be in a big empty room. Wow. 86% would rather be in a big empty room. So hey, we're all in this together, ironically. Oh, would you rather have an iPad or an iPhone? I have access to both, as it turns out, through my work, and I rarely ever use my iPad. I just don't. It's not a thing that I feel compelled to need to use. Most of the apps I use, even for when I say most of the apps, most folks think Facebook and Twitter and that kind of stuff, and yeah, you can do either or. But even the apps I use for creating things, Canva and Photoshop Express and some of the other things, I do all that on my phone. Why? I don't need an iPad. The phone does everything I need it to do. So I'm just going to go with have an iPhone. So there you go. All right, 71% agree. I'm on a roll. So that means this one, next one, I'll probably blow it. All right. If you were only allowed to read one comic book company's comic books, would you rather read only Marvel or read only DC Comics? Wow, this question is almost null and void. Isn't there like a big thing? And forgive me, and please, in the comments below, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't there a big thing where like whoever owns one or the other is buying the other one? Like whoever owns Marvel is trying to buy DC or vice versa or something like that, so it's all going to be one big unhappy universe when it's all said and done anyway? I don't know. I am not a comic book person. I'm not a superhero person. I couldn't tell you for the life of me, to save my life, which heroes are Marvel and which are DC. All I know is I'm a huge fan of Deadpool, and I don't care which universe he's in. He's awesome. So I don't know. I will pick... I don't know. I'm going to close my eyes, right, and just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, I don't know. Okay, whatever this one is. Okay, so DC Comics. Whatever. I don't care. Let me know in the comments down below, which one would you rather be only able to read and why? I want to know why. What would compel you to only read the one you pick? That's what I want to know. All right, so here we go. Would you rather eat only lima beans for the rest of your life or be allowed to eat your favorite meal but only 3 times a week? With the second option, you cannot eat anything else all week. You can choose when you'll take your 3 meals. What? So I can only eat lima beans every day, or I can eat my favorite meal, but I can only eat 3 times a week? Well, I'd lose a lot of this weight that I got. I tell you what. So, of course, the question is, what's your favorite meal? And would eating your favorite meal 3 times a week for the rest of your life get very, very old? I'm going to go and say that my favorite meal is lasagna, and there are various styles of lasagna. So, I mean, I could mix and match lasagna styles for the rest of my life. I would be perfectly fine. But only 3 times a week. Of course, it doesn't say how much you could only eat it 3 times a week. So if I stocked up and built up those carbs, then the days I wasn't eating, if it was 4 times a week, it'd be a no-brainer. But it's 3 times a week. So really, there's 4 days you're not eating anything. That's tough. You know what? I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going with my favorite meal. Wow. 91% would rather be allowed to eat your favorite meal than eat lima beans for the rest of your life. I can't imagine eating lima beans for the rest of my life. Can you imagine? That's the only thing you get to eat every day, all day. And no. Just no. Not happening. Okay, would you rather own a lightsaber or know the ways of the Force? So you can own a lightsaber and probably not figure out how it all works. And I guess you could figure out how it works, but you wouldn't have any of the Force powers, right? You'd have the lightsaber, but that's it. Or you could know the ways of the Force and presumably not have a lightsaber. Now, the Force has some really, really cool stuff. There's mind reading, there's force pushing, there's the cool lightning thing. I'll be honest, I would probably rather know the ways of the Force than a lightsaber, because there's a good chance if I had a lightsaber, I'd end up cutting my leg off. Let's just be honest. There we go. Ooh, yeah, we're still rolling with the majority. That's what I'm talking about. Let's roll up in here. So think about that for a minute. I'm going to go back. Sorry, just give me a second. Which would you rather do? Would you rather own a lightsaber, or would you rather know the ways of the Force? I could see it really going either way, but let me know what you think. What do you think about that? Let me know down in the comments, and why. Why did you pick what you pick? And we'll talk about this stuff in one of my Let's Talk videos. All right, so live in. Would you rather mansion in Beverly Hills or a penthouse in Manhattan? Are you East Coast or West Coast? That's pretty much what this is asking. So, would you rather have a mansion in Beverly Hills or a penthouse in Manhattan? I have actually been to both places. So, between the two, as much as I loved going to California, being in California, staying in California, especially, now we didn't stay in Beverly Hills, not even close, but we went through there, right? We visited and drove around and hung out and that kind of stuff. I was born I was born in Pittsburgh and lived around Pittsburgh. I'm a big city dude, man, and I'm not saying that Beverly Hills and LA and all that and Hollywood and all that, I'm not saying that's not big, but it's a different kind of big. I'm a big city guy, which you wouldn't know from where I live right now. I live on a farm. There's cows in the field. We got miniature horses. We got dogs. There's a pig out there. I can't remember. We used to have goats at one point. We've had horses. So I'm a long way from the city boy I grew up as. But for me, I would rather have a penthouse in Manhattan than a mansion in Beverly Hills. That's just me. What about you? Oh, look at there. We're on the downside. We're on the underside of what most people are choosing. Now, part of that could be weather as well. A mansion in Beverly Hills with weather-wise, that's not a bad way to spend your whole life, Penthouse in Manhattan, you got all the snow, blizzards, ice, all that stuff. I get it, but I'd rather have a penthouse. What about you? What's your favorite? Would you rather be in a mansion in Beverly Hills or a penthouse in Manhattan? Let me know. All right, so here, wow. Oh my gosh. Okay, we're going to end on a biggie. Okay. If you had to kill one of these two, would you rather kill Abraham Lincoln so that slavery still existed, or kill George Washington so that we lost the American Revolution? You would have to kill them. Slaves could not be freed. This is big. See, now, sometimes this game really makes us think about life and the universe and everything. That's a reference. Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. If you watch the Elon Musk rocket go up and now there's a freaking convertible flying in space and it says, "Don't panic." That's from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. If you have not read or listened to Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, it's a whole series of books. Please do yourself a favor and do that. That has nothing to do with what this question is, but seriously. Okay, big things here. I have to tell you, I know what answer I'm going to pick. All right. And I will tell you before I even click on it, I'm going to, if I have to kill one, I would have to pick the George Washington side versus the slavery still existing side. Now, having said that, I believe, and please feel free to chime in and respond and leave your comments, your thoughts. I believe that the way these are phrased, the George Washington side is the intended obvious answer because of the way these are worded. I believe these could have been worded slightly differently so that it would have made it a much less obvious or harder decision to make. For example, kill Abraham Lincoln so that slavery still exists until a different president steps up and frees them, something along those lines. Kill George Washington, which means he's not going to be the first American president, so keep that in mind, so that we lose the American Revolution. Okay, technically speaking, that could still stay that way, but I think there's a way to reword the slavery one so that it's not just blatantly, hey, do you want slavery or do you want to be free from England? I mean, that's pretty much what this boils down to, and, well, I'm going to pick, or not free from England, but we would still be under English rule. I'm going to pick still be under English rule over slavery. So, and it's a 60-40 split. There it is. Let me know down in the comment section below, what are your thoughts on all of the things that we covered in today's episode of Would You Rather? Questions, problems, horror stories? Stick those down in the comment section as well. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you next time on Would You Rather?